Hey, what's up, guys? It's Fulky here. I just want to give a shout out to Boogie Bentley, Dauber, and the Indie Kid over at the Talkin Vols Network on YouTube. Keep doing your thing, guys. Go Vols.
Good Wednesday morning. This is the Indie Kid coming at you. Appreciate John Fulkerson on Cameo by giving us a shout out right there, along with Dane Davis, Jabari Small as well. Appreciate those guys taking the time to give us the shout out through Cameo. But just want to welcome you guys in. Got a lot of stuff to bring to you on this Wednesday. Predominantly baseball, but just a little bit mixed in with other sports. Also, before I get into that, though, as always, make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe, and the link scrolling across the bottom. Make sure you check out the merchandise, the swag, the gear store at Talkin Vols, the official merchandise of the Talkin Vols Network. We'd appreciate you guys taking advantage of anything right there. But as always, none of this is possible without you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you have a good Wednesday. Let's get into it. First things first on it. You know, a lot of people's been wondering, when's Tony V getting a contract extension? He now has it. He has that contract extension. A lot of stuff to cover right here. And we'll start with the gist of it. As Tennessee announced 9 contract extensions across multiple sports today. You had Tony Vitello's extension, Rick Barnes' 2-year extension. We brought a video to you. Yes, it's close to 2 weeks ago talking about that, how it looked like Rick Barnes was about to get an extension. He gets a 2-year extension. The pay doesn't change. He's still making just south of $6 million per year. And I talked about it when I did this a couple of weeks ago. Rick Barnes, and this is the case when I get into Tony Vitello's contract as well, but according to 24/7 Sports, this is from 2019 when Rick Barnes signed the contract extension after, considering UCLA. Lots of, he's got raises coming in right there, as it raises will pick up each year. Lots of incentives in there as well. Just, if he were to win the SEC regular season title, $400,000 bonus there. SEC tournament title, $200,000 bonus. If he wins a national title, he would receive a $1.5 million bonus. Makes the Elite Eight, $800,000 bonus. Sweet 16, $600,000 bonus. Makes it to the second round, $400,000 bonus. He earns a bid to the tournament, a $200,000 bonus. There's even rewards if he is the Naismith National Coach of the Year, or just any of those Coach of the Year awards. $250,000 bonus. AP SEC Coach of the Year. It would now give him a $150,000 bonus. They finished ranked in the top 5 of the AP poll, top 10. There's so many incentives in here, and it even goes down to APR. If Tennessee's single-year APR is 980 or greater, Barnes gets a $100,000 bonus, and if it's in the 960 to 979 range, it's $50,000 bonus. So while he's making just south, I think this year it's around $5 million. Going forward, it's going to be closer up to 6. But, I mean, if the guy were to win a national title and, things of that nature, dude could rake in some coin. Not like he's not raking it in anyway, but so many bonuses in there on that contract. But in addition to Barnes, of course, Tony Vitello, which I'll touch upon here in just a minute. Kelly Harper, women's basketball coach, gets an extension. The rowing coach, Lisa Glenn. Swimming and diving coach, Matt Kredvich. I hope I pronounced that right. If not, I apologize. Women's tennis coach, Allison Ojeda. Men's golf coach, Brennan Webb. And softball coach, Karen Weekly. And also men's tennis coach, Chris Woodruff. So lots of extensions. And Danny White, he made the comment, he'd like to acknowledge the fact that he inherited a very impressive roster of head coaches when he arrived at Tennessee back in January, and he credited those who came before him. One thing when we talked about Danny White when he was hired, and one thing that really stood out there is that it was when I really researched what went on at Central Florida and his program, it was a very well-rounded program down there in all aspects. And majority sports. Now, I didn't look at every single sport that was on there, but most of the big name sports, whether it's on the men's or the women's side, had successful programs, highly ranked programs just across the board. And I felt really good about that coming to Tennessee. This was a guy who was coming in to have a healthy overall athletic department, not just football. And, it's, maybe some credit's not been given to previous ADs, obviously because of football. But there have been good coaches hired along the way and kept along the way. And Danny White, also, I know one of his hires this year was a new women's golf coach, and he was able, I don't have the name in front of me, but I know he was able to get the reigning Big Ten Women's Coach of the Year from Maryland to come in. I'm not sure if this was a former Lady Vol golfer or what the ties were there, but well-rounded program. Now, obviously, it comes down to football. Who's going to be the guy that fixes football? That's the main one in Knoxville that's going to have, that's where AD success is going to be made, fair or unfair, right there. But football is where it comes at. But so 9-contract extension, Rick Barnes 2 years. But the big question the whole time has been, when's Tony Vitello? Obviously, there were rumors about LSU. I don't know how much there was to that, if it was just getting floated or what right there. I don't know if there were conversations. Obviously, when Tennessee was eliminated from College World Series, Vitello said he hadn't spoke to him. But, a lot of times like that, the agents behind the scenes are the ones doing the talking, gauging the interest, things of that nature. So I don't know if anything went on behind the scenes or not. Obviously, LSU hired a good coach in Arizona's Jay Johnson. But Tony Vitello, contract extension today, looks like it's going to be it's extended through 2026. So you're looking at basically a 5-year extension. Will be paid $1.5 million annually, which does make him one of the highest paid coaches in college baseball. In addition to that, one of his incentives, he'll receive a 75% bat/equipment manufacturer endorsement in excess of $100,000 as part of his revised contract as well. Now, and if you follow some of these guys, some good sources out here, and Ryan Shumpert, who was VolQuest.com, now he's Rocky Top Insider. He tweeted out about Vitello's extension, base pay of $1.5 million through 2026. Now, Vitello would be owed the full remainder of his salary if fired before June 30th, 2024. If fired after that date, Tennessee would owe him 50%. I don't think that's going to be an issue, but it has to be part of that terminology to obviously for the coach or whomever. And if Vitello were to leave before June 30th of 2023, he would owe Tennessee $1 million. Between June 30th of 2023 and 2024, he'd owe the university $750,000. And between the same date, which is June 30th, 2024 to 2025, he would owe the university $250,000. And if he left after July 1st of 2025, he would owe them nothing. And something that's big right here as well, the contract extension includes a minimum salary pool of $900,000 per season. And so that will definitely help with assistance right there as well. Now, his some bonuses, and I don't have every amount on that. Appearance in the College World Series, Championship Series, he gets a 32% of his base pay. Appearance in the College World Series, 40% of his base pay. Single-year team APR between 960 and 980, $15,000, and above 980 or above $25,000. So this is according to Ryan Shumpert, Rocky Top Insider, who tweeted this out earlier. Big time commitment there. Nothing in terms of facilities has been mentioned yet, but you've got to think, and that's been one of the talking points. And I think that was one of the bigger things this entire time has been facilities. What's Tennessee going to do facility-wise down here to keep him? Obviously, the comments have been made that, there's facility improvements that need to be made. And I think I feel confident in saying those will be addressed. Now, I don't know when. I don't know the amounts or anything. There's been different amounts floated out there. That remains to be seen. And I would imagine whenever everything's finalized on that, we'll hear from it. As far as the time frame goes, who knows on that? I don't know all the logistics. I don't know all the specifics or anything of that nature. But this is huge news for Tennessee baseball. in what's been a really good week for Tennessee baseball and a real good day-to-day as well. Tony Vitello, we know, is going to be there at least through 2026. I feel really confident at that point that these facilities will be upgraded, that, if this program continues to generate the revenue that it does, and I feel confident it will. I really feel like we have a very competent AD. Football is going to be it's the cash cow. It's what drives everything down there. We'll see where that goes. We're not a football conversation, not recruiting, anything like that. A lot of that's going to help drive it, but I feel very confident in saying that there is money invested and involved with the baseball program, and it's just going to continue to benefit this program moving forward. Another good thing this week, moving on from the Tony Vitello extension, which is, is huge news, is Tennessee's draft, the Major League Baseball draft. When I came at you with the Cameron Miller commitment video on Monday, I said I'll come at you with news basically on the Major League Baseball draft, how it's going to affect Tennessee. Didn't foresee the Tony Vitello extension being announced on the same day. But also today, it was announced that freshman All-American from Georgia Tech, Chase Dolander, is transferring to Tennessee. So that's 2 freshmen All-Americans Tennessee's going to have in the rotation. And went back to the Georgia Southern. I'm sorry if I may say Georgia Tech, Georgia Southern is where he's coming from. But went back to that series when Tennessee played Georgia Southern at the beginning of the year, and Dolander did pitch in that. He pitched in the infamous Drew Gilbert bat flip game that weekend. I think it was game 2 of the series, but Dolander went 5 2/3, 3 hits, 1 run. It was earned, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts right there. He did give up the 1 home run to Drew Gilbert earlier in that game. But, another nice pickup for Tennessee. He'll be Tennessee beat out Arkansas and, if I'm not mistaken, LSU for him. I know for a fact that once he visited Tennessee, was going to Arkansas on a visit. So this is a big pickup for Tennessee, and they're going to need that rotation. Obviously, with Chad Dallas was drafted in the 4th round by the Toronto Blue Jays. So a nice pickup here, and a lot of good news. Just happy for these guys who have helped rebuild this Tennessee program down here. All in all, 7 guys from the current roster were drafted, and that's not include transfers or incoming potential freshmen. 11 overall were drafted there, and let's see. Let me pull up what we've got here. I've got a lot of screens pulled up right here. Lots of stuff here to kind of, like I said, there's a lot, especially with the baseball here. But the first pick out of it was, of course, Brady House was selected by the Nationals. And, said it from the get-go. That guy was never coming to Tennessee right there. He was – some mock drafts, he was as high as 2 or 3, ended up going 12th to Washington Nationals. So he went on day 1, and I think he's already indicated he'll be signing with the Nationals. Tennessee signee Ryan Spikes was the first off the board on Monday. He was drafted in the 3rd round by the Tampa Bay Rays. I think there's a little bit of hope maybe he signs, but I think going 3rd round right there, especially, I don't know if Tampa went under slot on either of their first 2 picks or not. So it depends on what they're going to have. Are they going to be able to go over slot for him or not? Because each pick does have a slot value, and sometimes teams will draft a guy and pay him under that slot. Therefore, they can use that slot money later on to kind of entice a potential. Most of the time, it's to entice somebody that's a high school recruit or a high school player going from college. Because a lot of times these college guys, they don't have the leeway that a high school guy does. Now, if you're an early guy, you do, but if you're a college senior, you really don't have much leverage right there. You're kind of going to sign for what's offered. Now, one thing about it, though, is this year, each of the seniors, they do get that extra year. So it'll be interesting to see where we go from there. But Ryan Spikes, 5-star recruit out of Georgia, drafted by Tampa Bay. I got to expect he's signing with them 3rd round. That's going to be some nice slot money there. Of course, Chad Dallas, 4th round. Congratulations to him. Been a heck of a pitcher for Tennessee. And then Tennessee took a beating on the middle infield, or just the infield in general, as Liam Spence, 5th round to the Chicago Cubs. Max Ferguson, 6 picks later in the 5th round, went to the San Diego Padres. And then Jake Rucker went later on in the 7th round to the Minnesota Twins. Now, another incoming signee is junior college transfer Dayton Dooney. He was a freshman All-American at Arizona 2 years ago. And switch hitter, middle infielder right there. He was drafted in the 6th round by the Kansas City Royals. So he does have 2 years eligibility remaining if he elects to come to Tennessee, but he would be eligible for the draft again next year. Be interesting to see whether he signs or maybe comes to Tennessee and tries to improve his stock, improve his value. There have been guys, and it's been alluded to, they passed up going to the majors and they chose to go to college to improve their draft value. Now, for probably everyone who does do that, there's others who don't do that also. So it's that's not as publicized, nor should it be. But we'll see if Dooney chooses to sign with Tennessee or not. During his 2019 season at Arizona, he hit 323 with 10 home runs. Not sure why he left there. He went to JUCO, where he hit 376 with 9 home runs. Be awesome if he elects to come to Tennessee, especially when you're losing 3/4 of your starting infield and possibly all 4 of them. And I'll address that 4th part here in just a minute. So that's 3 Tennessee signees that were drafted in the first 10 rounds. Now the other transfer / signee is Seth Halverson, transfer from Missouri, was drafted in the 19th round by the Phillies. Now, it was reported earlier by Kendall Rogers, D1 Baseball. He feels confident that Halverson is going to come to Tennessee. So if you've got Tennessee, you've got right there, or you've got Blade Tidwell, freshman All-American. You got Chase Dollander, freshman All-American transferring in. You've got Halverson. Now, some other big-time news coming out of the draft. And I haven't touched on also Connor Pavoloni was drafted in the 7th round by the Baltimore Orioles. Got to think he's gone right there. And, he had a little tougher year, but he was injured. He's been a steady dude behind the plate for 3 years down there, played a big role in the resurgence of this program. All these guys that's been down there have. And like I said, Jake Rucker, 7th round of the Minnesota Twins. He joins Alaric Solari, who's in the Twin system as well, was a real good player at UT before this. So some big news that come out, though, is VAWLS Ben McKee reported it during the draft, during day 2 of the draft, that one of Tennessee's main signees, Chase Burns, the number 1 ranked prospect, Tennessee pitcher, he would not sign with a professional team. He is coming to Tennessee. Got to think that he's got a real shot to be in that weekend rotation. So this Tennessee starting weekend rotation staff is going to be mad this year. It's going to be mean. It's going to be interesting to see. And, of course, a lot of these guys are out playing summer ball right now as well. I know you got you got Drew Gilbert and Jordan Beck playing up in the Cape Cod League. And then there's lots of other guys are spread around the country, whether it be out in California, there's some out in the Midwest. If you want to look that up and on Rocky Top Insider under baseball, Ryan Shumpert did an article on that detailing where everybody's playing this summer. Obviously, the Cape Cod's known as the top summer league out there. Really kind of surprised because the Appalachian League back around the Tri-Cities, of course, that's a college wood bat league now. Looked at the rosters there, didn't see any Tennessee guys on those rosters. So not sure if they're just waiting for that league to develop or what, but there are some players up in that league who are from big schools around. But big news with Chase Burns right there. Also Christian Moore, who's another big-time signee for Tennessee, and Seth Stevenson, JUCO signee as well. This was 3 of the big pieces, the Tennessee's signing class. They all will be enrolling at Tennessee. That's along with your transfer guys as well. Now getting into day 2 today, which concluded today, you had Jackson Leith drafted in the 12th round by the Texas Rangers. Got to think that he's probably I kind of wondered if he didn't get drafted, he would come back. And a lot of people said he's probably a top 5 round pick, if not for the injuries. Real shame we didn't get to see him this year and didn't get to see a lot of him last year with the COVID year either. I feel pretty confident just based on what I've read and based on what I've read up to this point, especially he's from Texas. He was drafted by the Texas Rangers. I think there's a pretty strong case that he'll go right there. And best of luck to him. Hopefully he's able to get his injuries straightened out and get things going. Then Sean Hunley was drafted in the 19th round, also by the Tampa Bay Rays. So you had Hunley along with Ryan Spikes. And then, of course, like I said, Seth Halverson, who's transferring from Missouri, was drafted by the Phillies. Seems likely, again, according to Kendall Rogers, that Halverson will come to Tennessee. So, where does this program go from here? Now, a few names that kind of stand out as to what are they going to do going forward. You had most of your starting lineup there was, most of them were drafted right here. So now what does a Luke Lipsius do? He's already a 5th-year senior. Does he maybe try to sign a free agent deal? Or does he come back? I would think, especially his brother a couple years ago was drafted and gone. I would almost be surprised if he comes back. Pete Durkay, he's played the most games in program history. He wasn't drafted. I don't know if he'll choose to come back or if he'll choose to go on as well. Redmond Walsh is another one. He wasn't drafted. I would think your two most likely is Redmond Walsh and Evan Russell. Evan Russell wasn't drafted as well. Now, could some of these guys sign some free agent deals? Possibly so, but I would think the most likely of the bunch to return would be Walsh and Evan Russell right there. So that's going to, be an interesting outfield because you'll have your whole outfield back. Plus, you got Kyle Booker, who's very highly thought of, come in with some good at-bats during the year right there. I know they think a lot of him. So how does that outfield play right there? How's the infield going to stack up? Are you replacing the whole infield? I got to think, probably, if anybody returns, it'll be Halverson. I don't honestly think any of the other guys come back. And, hats off to them. Can't blame them. It's only a 20-round draft this year, way down from usual. Of course, it's up from last year's COVID where they only did 5 rounds, but only 20 this year. I got to think these guys are probably going to take that opportunity. And so you're going to be replacing your infield, and you got to replace catcher. So who's going to do that? There's still the name out there, Colton Kessler from Kentucky. Hit 349, was a semifinalist for the Buster Posey Award this year. And a little known thing it's always mentioned with him, he was the guy that hit the bomb against Vanderbilt in the Saturday game, last regular season game of the year, that enabled Tennessee to win the East right there. So it'd be kind of cool. The guy that helped them win the East comes and helps them again next year, except actually playing for them this time. So it's no news on that front, but I still think that's a possibility as well. And then, how do they develop? How do these guys in the summer leagues develop? Obviously, there's been some guys that's been pretty well thought of recruiting, but, I'm excited for these dudes that get drafted. That's what they play for. And these guys have earned. They've helped turn this Tennessee program around. They've done an awesome job there. But I'm really excited about this potential rotation next year with Tidwell, with, Chase Burns, with, just Dolander from Georgia Southern, Halverson potentially if he stays from Missouri. You got to think you got Camden Sewell coming back. Is he going to be a weekend guy? Could he maybe play at Sean Hunley role out of the bullpen where he's your kind of stopper guy? Obviously, you're going to have Kirby Connell. I know he's playing down here in the Coastal Plain League, which is around South Carolina, Georgia, North Carolina area. Exciting times for Tennessee baseball, and they're just getting started. Not sure if they'll hit any other market for transfers. I know there's tons of guys in the portal and stuff, so we'll see where it goes from there, and we'll keep you updated on that. Again, I apologize for going so long. Going in, I knew there was a ton to cover today. Could probably split it into a couple videos, but let's knock it all out in one. But a good day, a good week for Tennessee baseball, good week for just Tennessee programs across the board. And so we'll go from there. Tonight, we're looking at, and it'll probably be posted tomorrow going forward. We've talked about that downfall Tennessee series. It's put together. Rough draft is ready. We'll kind of intro and talk about that and get it going to you. We'll be bringing out episodes on Tuesday and Wednesday. The band will be back together for that. Boogie, myself, and Dauber. And then, of course, any football news, any baseball news, any basketball news, because basketball recruiting is still going strong. I feel Tennessee's going to have a strong class again. I know these guys are out, especially B.J. Edwards, the lone commitment now. I know he's out recruiting other guys. He's mentioned that. I feel it's going to be another strong class for Tennessee. But appreciate you guys. If you stuck around this long, again, I apologize for the long video. I hope you stuck around. Lots of stuff in there. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Enjoy your Wednesday. Have a great day, and go Vols.